Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, medical charity MSF suspends work in parts of Ethiopia's northern Tigray region of the murder of 3 of its staff. The move will add to concerns about the scarcity of aid to the conflict-hit area where hundreds of thousands face famine. Also, kidnappers who took dozens of children from a boarding school in northern Nigeria this week make contact with the local reverend. He confirms that 121 children were abducted and says that he managed to speak to some of the terrified captives. And Belgium says that it will give back artwork acquired from the Democratic Republic of Congo through illegitimate means. In re-examining its colonial past, Brussels will overhaul the contents of its Africa Museum and acknowledge the historical pain attached to the acquisition of many of the works. But first, Ethiopia has said that it's allowed humanitarian flights into the embattled northern region of Tigray. However, civil aviation authorities say no such flights have yet left Addis Ababa. Around 400,000 people are in famine, with another 1.8 million on the brink of famine. Thousands have been killed and multiple atrocities reported during the 8 months of fighting between federal troops and local forces. Medical charity Doctors Without Borders, or MSF, is suspending work in some parts of Tigray after 3 of its staff were killed last month. Mesa Rakaspana joins us now from MSF. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Mesa. Now, first of all, can you tell us more about what happened to your colleagues and why MSF's decided to withdraw from certain parts of Tigray now?
Okay, thank you. At the moment, we don't know exactly what happened. There is a lot of uncertainty about the circumstances. And so far, no one claimed for this attack. And the circumstances surrounding the attack remain uncertain. So we decided to leave, to do this temporary suspension, because the priority was the safety of our teams, our colleagues in Tigray. And it was a very painful decision because we know that humanitarian needs in Tigray are huge at this moment. But the priority was to put our staff in a safety position.
Now, you have teams on the ground. It has been, since the beginning of the conflict, very difficult to get information about exactly what's happening from there. Can you tell us a bit more about what you know as to be the humanitarian situation in Tigray?
The humanitarian situation has been very difficult since the beginning of the conflict. So there's a lot of the population displaced. There's some population that search for shelter and protection in the main cities. There are also a lot of population that remain in the mountains. So the humanitarian needs are not covered by the different actors on the ground. So there's lack of food, lack of healthcare, the system collapse. There was attacks to the medical mission. Some medical facilities were looted and occupied for a significant time. So there is a lack of medical supplies. There is a lack of staff. We were collaborating with the Regional Health Bureau, supporting 5 hospitals and different mobile clinics. But the situation is still critical, and the humanitarian needs are huge at this moment.
And has there been any progress in the investigation to the death of your colleagues?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, there is a lot of information that is not clear yet. So that's why MSF formally requests an investigation to all the parties concerned in this conflict, in this context, because we would like to have a detailed information, detailed facts about what happened, because it's important to know that for the safety of all the humanitarian workers in the area, not only in Tigray, but also in Ethiopia, because we know that humanitarian needs are very important. The job of the humanitarian organizations now is crucial in these areas, but for that it's very important to have this independent and deep investigation from the parties, and that is done in an impartial way and transparent way. And with this information, then we can make the decisions later on.
Thanks very much, Ms. Rokaspana Monkaya, there for us from MSF. Now, the parents of more than 120 school children abducted from a school in northern Nigeria on Monday have been anxiously waiting for news. A member of the school management team has said that the kidnappers have made contact. Sam Olukoya has more.
The gunmen are now in contact with the school officials. The gunmen also allowed the students to speak with the school officials. The students said the gunmen are holding 121 students. One unconfirmed report said the gunmen are asking for food to feed the students. It is remarkable that the gunmen allowed the children to speak with the school officials. It seems the idea is to prove that they are actually holding the students. Such proof is vital when they have to negotiate for ransom. Most school children abducted are often released only after ransom had been paid. Rescue by security officials is very rare. Of recent, gunmen have been making outrageous monetary demands from parents, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for parents to meet these demands. Hundreds of school children are being held across Nigeria, in Kebbi, in Niger, and Kaduna State. And in many instances, these children are being held because their parents are unable to pay ransom.
Samuel Okoye there for us. Now, Zambia's founding father, Kenneth Kaunda, was buried at the presidential cemetery on Wednesday. The 97-year-old, who fought against white minority rule in the region, died last month. His family had tried to block the interment as some of his relatives wanted him to be laid to rest at his farm alongside his late wife, Betty. However, the High Court turned down the application and he was eventually buried at Embassy Park alongside other late leaders of the country. Kaunda was the first president of Zambia, and his birthday, April 28th, has been declared a national holiday. Belgium will start returning art stolen from DR Congo under colonial rule. From the late 19th century to 1960, thousands of pieces were taken by Belgian and other European collectors. Belgium's Africa Museum is re-examining its colonial past and is due to hand back work acquired through illegitimate means.
The famous Africa Museum near Brussels. This is where the Belgian government presented its policy for the return of Congolese art stolen during the colonial era.
Tout ce qui a été acquis de façon illégitime, dans le cadre de vol, dans le cadre de violence, dans le cadre de pillage, doit être restitué. Cela ne nous appartient pas. Par contre, on scinde la question de la restitution juridique, donc on transfère la propriété, de la question de la restitution matérielle qui s'organisera dans un second temps sur base de travaux avec la coopération développement dans le cadre d'échanges diplomatiques avec les autorités concernées.
At the end of the 19th century, King Leopold II made Congo his own private domain. It later became a Belgian colony until independence in 1960. During these decades, thousands of artifacts were looted and brought here. Some reject the idea that Congolese museums are ill-equipped to receive these works of art.
C'est des objets qui rentrent dans leur contexte naturel, donc je ne vois pas pourquoi est-ce qu'on devait se poser plusieurs questions. C'est comme si vous sortez, quelqu'un vous arrache votre porte-monnaie et la personne vous pose la question de savoir est-ce que vous êtes prêt à récupérer votre porte-monnaie. Ça n'a pas de sens.
The museum said the process of returning the works of art to the Democratic Republic of Congo could take up to 20 years.
And finally, the South African artist behind one of the biggest global hits of last year is teaming up with Senegalese-American singer Akon and French DJ David Guetta for a new single. The sounds of Master KG's Jerusalema lit up dance floors and fueled dance crazes around the world in 2020. He says that the attention it brought is a reflection of his continent's rising star.
Jerusalema,
that song has actually made my life easier in terms of me, going forward with the music also. I don't need to introduce myself that much. The song has done its work. So, for me, both David Guetta and Akon, for me, they represent love, they represent unity and togetherness, which is the reason why I chose them, to do this beautiful song with them. Because my music also, it's kind of representing the same thing, love, unity, and positive vibes. I believe Africa is waking up. That's why I'm even wearing this, because we just getting started now. Things are just really getting started. We actually getting on the right path, musically and socially and other things. I just believe that it's our time. It's our time. This has been a long time coming. Now is the time for us to shine.
Well, looking forward to hearing that new single once it's out. Well, that's it though for Eye on Africa. Thanks for joining us, and do so again if you can. Take care.